So I'm going to quickly just go over some of the mayors. That was the mayor of the mayor of Stone Mountain, Georgia, Patricia Wheeler, which is where I am now. This is Keisha Lance Bottoms, the mayor of Atlanta. And I went looking up the mayors of Clarkston, the cities that I've been in where they have pulled these operations to try to harm me and my child. And I was in Decatur. I was in Lithonia, where people tried to pull operations on me, and in Marietta. And they tried to bring me to other locations as well that I didn't go to. They tried to bring me to Alpharetta, which means they would have allowed them to pull operations on me in Alpharetta. And in Lawrenceville, they tried to bring me to Lawrenceville as well, and I declined because they have been pulling operations on me all over Atlanta, Georgia, trying to stage to have me outside. So I was like, okay, let me do some research on this woman who runs Atlanta, Georgia, because that's where I originally came to stay in Atlanta and get accepted into a shelter. Video clip about Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, because I came to Atlanta, Georgia for women's rights to get into a shelter. I am pregnant and I have rights as a woman. Excuse my teeth. I need to brush my teeth. I'm outside and I am pregnant. And I came to get into a shelter for women's empowerment, for my empowerment as a woman. I was being sexually abused and exploited by my child's father and the people who are involved in a gang. And I came here to get on my feet as a black woman for my children, and for them to work against me and my rights as a woman and put me out of the shelter to treat me like a piece of meat in Atlanta, Georgia, is a complete disgrace. So being that they had gang members following me all in the shelter, around the shelter, trying to sex traffic me in the shelter, and then put me out of the Salvation Army in order to try to degrade me about my case because I shot a white male in Texas and I came here pregnant trying to seek refuge and work against what they were trying to do to me in Texas, because they were trying to have me on the streets and sex traffic me in Texas. And when you're pregnant and you need food, that is exploitation. So I also looked up a little more information on Kamala Harris, and she was saying that she's in Asia, and I found out that she is Asian and black, and that she has a degree in political science and economics. So she understands what they do to black women in our economy. And I made several videos about Keisha Lance Bottoms on my channel, Queen Andrea Antoinette Jones, because they removed my channel about what my story was really about. This is the Silk Ministry, one of my channels, which you can go down to my videos and see that I came to Atlanta because they were trying to murder me in Texas. They had me at a man named Henry Brown's house before I left Texas, and he was trying to set me up to be murdered. And I went to a hotel, and my aunt said that she would let me come to Arkansas, and I was releasing evidence about my pregnancy and my son in my aunt's home, and she staged for me to be on the streets out there. So I got on Greyhound praying for our lives, and I went to a man's home in Aspen Courts, and then I got accepted into the Salvation Army after they denied me first. So they denied me into all the shelters when I first got here, and they were trying to set me up to be murdered before I even went into the shelter. They had black men bringing me into abandoned apartments trying to set me up to be killed right over here by Kensington Station in Stone Mountain, Georgia. And I just wanted to show what my journey was about. I started doing ministry and continuing to release the evidence about my son on the streets. And they were continuing to harass me and try to harm me pregnant outside. And they were trying to harass me about my evidence inside of the Salvation Army, trying to stop me from putting out the evidence about my pregnancy. And they brought me into a man's home where they were flying missiles over us and treating me like some sort of terrorist. I was accepted into the Salvation Army, and then they put me out and made me go to a man's house in Luther Landing Apartments that was having them do military operations on me inside of the home. And before I went to the Salvation Army, they had males trying to bring me into locations and sex traffic me.